Everybody ready? All right.
Larry, we've talked about the difference these guys have made on this program, and even they made the point that when they first got here, sitting on the bench with their red shirt, and they could count how many people were here. What does it mean to have this kind of environment for the last game tonight?
I spoke to Matt Roberts, a couple of days ago, and we were talking about, would it be a neat idea to have the kids speak after the game, and because at Kansas we did it, a lot of places I've been around, and I was all in favor of it, but I was worried that maybe, we wouldn't have anybody stay. And then when we came out and everybody was already in their seats, I was even a little more worried. And then, you're also concerned about the outcome of the game. But, I asked them if they remembered the Loyola Marymount game. Tim and I stood there and, we both said, what the hell are we doing here? I can imagine what those kids were thinking. But it's just been an incredible kind of ride. And then to think of what they've done and what they've established, the level of play, the expectations, the way they've played. It's been more than I think Tim and I could ever imagine. You hope for something like this. And I remember our first senior night was kind of strange, but this one, I wasn't looking forward to it. But then when I saw the way they were received, it was nice to be part of that.
Does seeing an atmosphere like that, seeing everybody stick around and support you guys again and again, does an atmosphere like this even ever surprise you anymore?
Oh yeah, I realize we have a great building, but you don't have a good team. You have a great building, but everything, the way these kids have been supported, having the president, first lady come to games, and Jason Witten's at the game, and Jason Garrett, but just to see nobody leave, and then you can, as a coach or a staff, express, what they've meant, but I think it's a lot more meaningful when people acknowledge that and the way they did. It's neat to be part of that.
What did you think of the senior speeches, including some who had comments specifically to you?
Oh, they probably were on something, I don't know, something in the water. I think as a coach, it's really more important the relationships you build with players and coaches than anything else. I'm not the easiest guy to play for, and this has been, a real difficult year for me personally because of, I take over for Tim after 9 games, and we're entirely different. But none of this would have happened without Tim and the staff that we've been able to assemble. And I think they might have mentioned my name, but I think there's a feeling amongst everybody that this is Tim's team as much as mine. I've always told you about this coaching weight and stuff. Any coach that does his job and cares about his profession, everybody that sits next to you, you hope that will have the same opportunity. But when players like that have invested so much and been through so much, say kind things about you, that makes you come back, keep doing what I do, and realize that I haven't worked yet.
Were you worried at all about them either getting too wrapped up in the emotion or too sentimental to have a good performance tonight?
Oh yeah, but I'm always worried before a game. One of my best friends and I drove over to the game, and he asked me, "You nervous?" I said, "I don't remember one time I wasn't nervous." But this particular, when you're at Kansas, UCLA, and North Carolina, you kind of feel like we got a pretty good shot, and then I'm looking down. We're playing Connecticut, I think about their program and what they've accomplished and the people that have played for them, the coaches that have been there, and they're looking at us like it's a big game. That's really a neat thing, but I was really worried that, this might be spoiled by us not being able to scratch out a win, because I didn't want people to wait around and then, be focused on this game and not the accomplishments of these kids over their careers. But it turned out pretty good, and the president and Laura stayed till the end. I thought that was really, really a neat thing.
How would you rate this defensive performance, especially that first?
First half, probably as good as, I can remember. So we beat a team that, is pretty athletic, spreads you out, got guys that can make shots. I thought we were great. And kept, Tim had that scout, and we were talking before the game, and he said every one is going to have a tough matchup. You got to really be diligent about guarding your own man. Because last time, we got beat a bunch, and the big kid had an incredible performance. But the first half, we were spectacular and didn't shoot the ball well. I thought we had some really good shots, but all in all, you hold them to 54. That's a great game.
Did Kevin Ollie say anything to you after the game that you can share with us?
Yeah, but he called me up about 4 days ago. I was getting coffee, and somebody had mentioned there was something written, about our team in a negative way, and somebody mentioned that to me, and I wouldn't think Kevin Ollie would ever do something like that. And then I got a phone call that day from Kevin apologizing, and I said, Kevin, I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have thought about it. I said, there's no way I would feel like you would say anything about our team or any of your kids. And he apologized again. I kind of looked at him. The only thing, he's a competitor, as close as we are, and as much as we love each other, that's not easy to do, when your team doesn't play up to the standards that they're used to. So I just wish them luck, and sometimes the games like that will get your team's attention.
Anything else? How do you regroup and after an emotional night like this and get ready for Sunday?
You got any suggestions?
You're in the Hall of Fame.
Well, we're gonna get treatment. Shake had a bad knee tonight. Shouldn't have probably played and wanted to, but we're gonna get treatment tomorrow. We're gonna have 2 smell the gym kind of practices, and try to figure out how we can score against Cincinnati, because both teams have been challenged scoring the ball. So we got to figure out how we can handle that matchup a little bit. And then you're right, the game for them is everything, and the game for us is everything. But I don't want to take away from what these kids have done. We won 25 games, and if the conference had let us play Texas Wesleyan, we might have had 26, because we were 1 short. And I have friends that are in that program, but they said it would have hurt the RPI of the league, so I didn't play. But to win 25 games, as challenged as we've been, I'm going to enjoy it tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday with these kids, and then Sunday we hope that they'll be rewarded for what they've accomplished.
Now, you have a great history with point guards. One last word about Nick Moore and how important he is to you as well as the program moving forward.
I can't say it in one word, but just to see his growth as a person and how he's accepted coaching. He had the most difficult adjustment. All point guards with me have difficult adjustments, but he played for Tim, and that's a big reason why he was here. and then to play for Tim, and then all of a sudden, he's hearing another voice. It's not easy, but he's grown up in so many ways. You know, Tim said it in the paper the other day. His heart is so huge. His competitive spirit is so great. But to see him grow up as a human being and mature and become a leader, it's pretty neat to be able around that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.